بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Welcome back to our Arabic sessions. Today we're going to learn six new letters, and we're going to dive right into our letters here. We're going to start with Ra, and with fath'a. We're saying here that with fath'a, our sound is going to be like Ra, R-O in rock. And it's a heavy letter. Okay? Ra is a heavy letter. Ra. And it looks like a quarter of a circle. You start always from the top to the bottom, right to left. Yeah? So you start from here, go quarter of a circle, and you stop. That's Ra. If something is connected, then you stop, and then you start again, and you make the Ra. Same thing at the end. It has a star to its right. That means it doesn't connect from the left side, and that's why there's no three dots here. So Ra does not connect from the left. Right under it is Za. If it had fath'a, as always we say we're assuming everything has fath'a. This is pronounced as Za. And Za is a light letter, right? Za versus Ra. Za looks exactly like Ra, except that it has a dot. So by the way, from now on, you're going to realize that all the other letters, they're twins. You know, we had only two sets of triplets, and the rest of the letters, most of them are, in pairs. Ra, Za, we're going to see here, Sa. This letter is Sa, and this letter is Sha. Sa has three teeth, connects from right and left, and when it's at the end, it has a tail, a small tail, in a form of like a big U. Okay, so that's Sa. You start with one tooth, second one, third one, you keep straight. If it's connected from the right, you're writing something here, then straight line, then one tooth, second, third, then you keep going straight line. Then you write whatever letters after it. At the end, you do the three teeth, and when you're coming down from the third tooth, so you do 1, 2, 3, and when you're coming down, you do a big loop. Not a loop, a big U, okay? That's how you end the Sa. So with fath'a, it sounds like Sa, as in sat. If you use the SA here, it's Sa, sat, right? Just like apple, Sa. It's a light letter again. You have to smile when you say it, Sa. A tip that I sometimes tell my students, I don't know if it will help you out to remember how to pronounce this letter. It's like the teeth look like waves. It's a wave. So whenever you see a wave, remember it's like, it's a C. And the word C starts with an S, right? So Sa, Sa. This is the C, Sa. And here you see waves with dots on top. So whenever the waves evaporate, you have showers coming down on them. So that's Sha, showers, Sha. Sa and Sha are the same except for the dots, okay? And you can only have three teeth with no dots or three teeth with three dots. That's the only two options. There's no three teeth with one dot or two dots, okay? With fath'a, Sha sounds as in shackles, okay? Sha. The next two letters are both heavy letters. The first one is saw, as the opposite of this. This is sa, is the light version of this. Okay, so this one, oops, the other way. Let's repeat that. So this one and this one, they're the same except for one is light and one is heavy. Okay, so this is sa and this is saw. It's again S-A as in saw, the saw that you cut with. So that's saw, it's a heavy letter, okay? And how you write this one is slightly different. This is how you write it down. You're gonna start with the loop from the left, actually. Start like this, you loop, you do like a small tooth, and you keep going, okay? So if something's written, and then you come, you do a loop, small tooth, and you keep going. Okay, so this is saw, saw, and then tooth, and you have a big U with it. Okay, so this is the saw. And at the end, we have the daw. Daw, as it sounds to you, hopefully, daw is the heavy version of a letter that we already learned, da, right? So daw is the heavy version of da. And daw looks exactly like saw, except for the dot. So these are the new 6 letters that we just learned. And I want you to spend some time, look at your screen, and try to remember these letters. I'm going to give you some time for yourself to ponder and to look at them. Try to memorize them. I'll give you a couple of minutes. I'm going to pause this for the video. So if when you're reviewing, pause it as well, and then unpause whenever you're ready. I would like to also share something with you. So those we have in the Arabic language 4 letters that have a big loop. I call these big loops. That's what I say, big loops. So that's one, this is another one. These are 2 of these 4 letters, and there's another 2 letters. All the 4 letters that have big loops are heavy letters, which means they sound like aw, not a. Everything else sounds like a with fath'a, a as an apple. But those sounds like aw, as in tom or dot or saw or whatever, that heavy sound, okay? So whenever you see the heavy, the big loop, remember it's a heavy letter. Let's see the first exercise that comes right after this. Practice by circling the letters you recognize from the following words and pronounce them loudly. So we're going to start, as always, from right to left, and we're going to try to find every letter that we know and then pronounce it loudly. All the letters that we've learned since the beginning. So this is a letter we learned today. It has a big loop. It's heavy. It's daw. Daw. This is the first letter we learned today. It's ra. Also heavy, ra. Realize that ra does not connect from the left. What happened? There's space between it and the next letter. It does not connect. And then our final letter for this word was ba. Ba. Move on to this one. We see the C with the showers on top. Sha. Sha. ja, ja, ra, ra. Assuming we have a fath'a, this one is ta. Whenever we have a circle all by itself, it's ta. Okay. A, ta, va. And this letter, if we assume there's a fath'a, not this one, the fath'a, right? It would be pronounced as ra. So you see, almost actually all of the letters you are able to pronounce now. Because remember, we learned up to now 15 letters out of 28. So that's more than half the alphabet. So you know a lot of letters. Ha, ha. This is the C waves. Sa, da. This is a heavy letter. Saw. One tooth with the below. Ba, ba. Ra, za, za. This is not a, right? This is not a. This is different than this one. The symbol comes by itself. If it's connecting, that's a different letter. That's why also we learn if something connects or not. This small letter hamza does not connect ever. So this is a letter that we're going to pronounce or learn later. And this is a letter that we haven't learned yet. Okay, let's go and see the pictures to make sure we're pronouncing letters correctly. They're coming out from the right place. Let's first say ra together. Ra, 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 ra. And try your best to pronounce it if you want to say it in the American style. Ra, not the. Don't do ra, because if you do ra, that means you pronounce 10, 12 ra's together, okay? So ra, your tongue, not the tip of it, slightly above your tongue, over the palate, that's where the ra comes, right? Ra. Z, z, z. Z. It's from inside your lower teeth. Z. 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 Sa. These are letters that you are used to even in the English language, so I'm not too worried about them. Sha. Sha. Saw. So the saw, make sure, like I said before, your mouth making circle with your lips, saw, so that it comes out as a heavy letter, saw versus sa. And now you can look at me, hopefully you know the sa, you're smiling, sa, saw. I'm bringing my lips in a circle form and together to make this heavy sound, saw. And finally, ba. Ba is a very long letter. If you can see it, it's one of the toughest letters to pronounce in the alphabet, and there's reasons why, but it's a whole, almost the whole length of your tongue when your tongue is on top, covering your palate. Ba, okay, ba. Ba. It's a heavy letter. Let's jump a little bit to the Quran to read a little bit from it. And since we are already at this page. We'll just read from here. I'm going to go from right to left. And every letter, as usual, we're going to stop by and we're going to pronounce loudly, assuming there's a fath'a on top. So this is ha. This is new. I'm going to skip it. This is new. I don't know what this is yet. I don't know what that is. This is new. I know this one. Ta. Assuming there's a fath'a, this would be ba. This, if there was a fath'a on top, it would be ba. This hamza always gives this sound of a if it comes with a fath'a. Ja. I don't know all those letters. A. Oh, actually, I skipped the ra, sorry. Ra, right? Ra, we know it. Ra. Ba, right here. See ba. Go to the second line. Ta. A. A. Ta. Ba. Da. Ha. A. Da. Ra with fath'a, right? Here it shows as ri, but it's with fath'a. We're assuming there's a fath'a. It's ra. Ba. Assuming there's a fath'a. Za. Ra. Sa. Ha. One more line. A. Ta. Assuming there's a fath'a, this would be sa. This would be ra. A. Ra. The C waves, C, sa. Here's a very difficult one. See how we were talking about that, a letter can look differently every once in a while. So look at this. There's a letter, a tooth with a dot on top. Then there's a connection. There's a small hill here, right? You go up and down. So that's a tooth, right? That's a tooth. It's not as obvious as we usually have it, but this is a tooth. And the dot for the tooth is right over here. So which letter is this? It will be the letter ba. The tooth is right here. The dot is here. This is the letter ba. So some of them are, not so obvious, but through time and practice, we'll get to know them better. Please scan with your eyes and read loudly the letters that you recognize tomorrow. Scan a page of the Quran and go through it slowly. Every time you get to a letter, assume it has a fath'a and pronounce it loudly and keep going. If you forget what letter it was, review the lesson and make sure you know it. And let's, keep going at this rate, inshallah. And, very soon you're going to start be reading words and even, entire pages without problems, inshallah, bi'idhnillah. So subhanakallahum bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.